welcome to another edition of Geek Culture Congress. My name is Speedy Jr. and Tariq Lewis couldn't be here with us today, but we have a very special guest on the line today. We have Marco Lopez, who is one of the editors, main editors, and also one of the writers on this comic book anthology that is a benefit to help the people of Puerto Rico, which is called Puerto Rico Strong. Welcome, Marco Lopez. Welcome to Geek Culture Congress. How are you doing today?
Hey, good. Doing well.
Good.
Thanks for bringing me on the podcast. And I'm glad to be on here.
All right, thank you, Marco. I'm glad to have you, man. I saw when I got your email, or actually somebody forwarded me your email, and I read the information. I didn't even know about the project until I got the email. And of course, me being Puerto Rican is something that hit very personal to me. So I want to make sure I get you on my podcast so you can tell more people about this great comic book, which I went to go buy a copy. I missed you at the event at the Uncanny comic store. Yeah, I missed you. Yeah, but I did go pop in there and buy a copy. And
what time did you go there?
Gosh, maybe it was like before they closed, about an hour before they closed. I think they closed at 7, right?
Oh, okay. You might have been, because a friend of mine, I know the owners, but a friend of mine was there also until before they closed. And I think you might have been the one, because I'd asked him, did we sell any more copies after I left? And he's like, oh, yeah, we sold one more. So it might have been you.
Yeah, it probably was me then, yep. Yeah, I tried to, I didn't want to go to another comic book on another side of town, and them might not have it. So I made sure I popped into the store and grabbed a copy from there. And anybody who lives in the Tampa Bay area, if you want to get a copy, for sure, I'm not sure about other comic book stores, but definitely Uncanny Comics has copies, and I think it's about $12 or so, and everything.
$12.99, and Uncanny Heroes always has their trades at 25% off.
Nice.
So it really comes to like $9.75.
All right, cool. So and of course it's a benefit for Puerto Rico. And speaking of Puerto Rico, I really loved this book. Reading it, I really loved some of the stories. I like the stories about the Taínos, the history. Yeah, I love that story. And tell me a little bit about everybody. How did this come about? What inspired you to get involved, to get all these people together and get in touch with Lion Forge, which is the people that published the book. Tell me a little bit in a nutshell, in the Cliff Notes version of how you made this happen.
It all came about last year in September, right before the second hurricane hit Puerto Rico. I was watching TV. I think I might have been watching like a news piece on it, and I just hit up a friend of mine, Derek Ruiz, and I said, hey, we should do something to help Puerto Rico because, second hurricane's going to come. It's going to be pretty bad. Right. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And then...
so this has been in motion since the hurricane.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is... When we started, it was back in September, and it was me, Derek, and then we got Desiree, and she's an editor for Lion Forge, and then Derek brought in Neil, and then I started going out to talent. And then we started deciding on, stuff like what it was going to be called, what it was going to be about. Derek came up with the title. Desiree came up with a summary, what we'd be covering and what it'd be about. And then I brought it to Lion Forge because I used to write for them back in the day.
What did you write for them?
And, what did I write for them?
Yeah.
I did the work that I did with them never came out because they ended up shifting their focus to like their superhero line that they have now, Catalyst Prime, which is really good. I mean, if you like superhero comics, it's really good. It's basically a superhero line for like multi-ethnic characters. So you have like, Latinos and African-American characters and Asian characters that are superheroes.
Dope.
It's a very cool series of books. So I would definitely check out those anyone that's interested.
Very cool.
But yeah, I contacted my former editor, Carl Reed. He liked the idea. He took it to a meeting, and then like a few days later, we're up and running. And then another editor came on board that works for Lion Forge, Hazel Newlevin, if I'm saying her last name right. And then from there, it just, was going out to talent, breaking down the subjects that we were going to cover. And then, it was just one thing after the other until, we got everything in the can for printing and then release.
Very nice. Very nice. I was reading some of the people who contributed. You also have Fabian. What I forget his last name now is
Nicieza.
Yeah, he's the co-creator of of Deadpool, and that's a cool thing. He's doing some story there. And which is the story that he did?
I believe he did. Which one did he do? I believe his was the one with the kid that goes home to Puerto Rico.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I think that was his. I don't have the book in front of me.
Me neither. See, in my rush to get to work this morning, I completely forgot. It has now a special place on my bookshelf in my bedroom now. So,
nice.
I've meant to grab it this morning and take it, and I completely forgot about it. So, but I did read it from cover to cover, and I really did thoroughly enjoy it. Tell me, who you can remember that notable people who helped contribute for this project.
It was Fabian Nicieza. He was great. He was, I think he was one of the first people I contacted.
Nice.
And he was down for it. Tony Bedard, he's a known comic book creator.
Yes, he does a comic book strip, doesn't he?
No, that was Tom Benlin.
Tom Benlin, yes.
Yeah, and Tom Benlin did the one that was black and white, Thanks for Nothing.
Yes, I enjoyed that one. That was fun. Yeah.
That one was really good. Tony Bedard, he did one with, I think it was John R. Holmes. Theirs was Reality Check. Theirs was one of the parents that are basically telling their kids the story, about when the Spaniards first came to Puerto Rico and all that.
Right.
And they're telling them a more sanitized version, to keep their spirits up.
Yeah.
Given the whole situation. Who else did we have? We had on top of the known creators, we had known independent people. We had a lot of the creators, a good chunk of the creators that we had were from Puerto Rico themselves, like Daniel Edizari Agunda. He did the pinup Madre de Dios.
Right.
Rosa Colon, she did Broken Promesa. I think it was a 2-page story.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken.
And I talked about the Promesa group of congressmen, I believe, the whole deal that they're supposed to help restructure Puerto Rico's debt. And it's a very interesting comic book. Also, what I enjoyed about this comic book is not only is it side stories and maybe it's also stories about our past. It's kind of like a little bit of a history lesson. It's some of the stories are a history lesson, and it's very attainable for somebody who always wanted to learn about Puerto Rico history and never was taught it at all. This comic book is kind of like a crash course in Puerto Rican history.
Yeah, that was thanks to Desiree Rodriguez, one of the editors. She wanted this to be more than what your normal, anthology or charity work. She wanted it to be something that's, fun, but then something that's also educational.
Right.
So something that you can use in schools and you can have in libraries. And, not a lot of people know about Puerto Rican history or Puerto Rican culture.
That's true.
So she wanted to be able to encompass.
I didn't know when I was a young man until I actually wanted to try and, learn more about Puerto Rico as a teenager. And it was very difficult when, you don't have the internet.
Yeah.
There's some stories there. Also, there's one story. There's a Taino spirit. A Puerto Rico family has an encounter with a Taino spirit. It's kind of like an action adventure kind of
that's
story.
The one that's one of the stories that I co-wrote.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
Very nice. I like that story a lot, and I like the throwback to more the mythology of Puerto Rico, chupacabras and Some people say the alien abductions and things like that, weird things that happen in the Yunque and stuff like that, and incorporating it kind of in that story, some of the myths and stuff like that. It was really, really, really cool. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that was I did that one that way because I wanted to, because we had, a lot of the great stories that we have are talk about the past of Puerto Rico, like some of the stuff that happened and some of the stuff that the U.S. has put dialing through, and talk about the history and the culture. And I wanted to do something that included the history and culture, but that was also fantastic, also almost like Spielberg-like.
Yeah, It was awesome. It was a really awesome story. I think you could do a series probably about that family.
That's it's funny that you bring that up because that's the plan. We'll see how things go.
You see, you heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen, on Geek Culture Congress. Okay, the birthplace. That was the first. When you make the movie, you buy the Puerto Rico Strong book, and that's the first. That'll be the first appearance of that family. Okay, and then you'll be in the money.
That was when me and Derek finished writing that story. And we started getting into art from Jamie Jones, who illustrated it.
Right.
And we were like, this is a really cool. It's almost like we wrote again, to bring it up, a Spielberg, type story.
Yeah.
You always have these like action adventure family stories, but they never have any, Latino leads.
That's right.
They don't have any ethnic leads. No, and we're like, we just did one of those.
Yeah.
And then we created a cool little sidekick, cute monster.
Yeah, you did. You did. It was cool. It was very cool. So who was on your wish list that couldn't participate?
Oh, actually, the only person, and it became, because it's hard to get in touch with him, was George Perez.
Ah, yes. He's a great guy, man. He's a great guy.
Who's literally anybody who reads comic books. He's like,
of course, he's
the creator, Puerto Rican.
Yeah, he's the co-creator of the Teen Titans. He drew Crisis on Infinite Earths, Infinity Gauntlet. I could keep going on forever, but George Perez is very famous for a lot of stuff that we're enjoying right now in TV and movies right now.
And that was one of those that it's hard to get into. He's not on social media. I mean, there is a website, but I don't think he runs the website. I do
follow him on Facebook, and he kind of doesn't post anything. He's kind of a very private man. Yeah, so that was one of those things that we were like hoping maybe we could try to get in touch with him for like a pen up, or maybe like he could write an introduction. But that was the one thing out of anything that I was just like, if, in a perfect world, right, that would have been nice if that was possible. Yeah, that would have been nice too. Yeah, I was kind of thinking, I was like, man, Jordan, nobody reached out to George Perez. I'm sure he would have loved doing something, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. Yeah. I tried, but I don't like I said. I don't think he uses. I know there's his website, and then there's a Twitter page and a Facebook page, but I think all those are run by somebody else. Yeah, I think his wife runs everything. I think it's his wife. Yep, I think his wife is always handling him in the Comic Cons and stuff. So, Puerto Rico Strong. It is available now, ladies and gentlemen, in brick and mortar comic book stores. Hopefully, everybody that was decent ordered enough copies for everybody. Definitely in the Tampa Bay area, you can get it at Uncanny Comics. That's on 56th Street in Tampa, in the Temple Terrace area. You can find them. If they're in the Tampa area, just type in on Google Uncanny Heroes. If they're in Lakeland, type you just go Uncanny Heroes Tampa or Uncanny Heroes Lakeland. Right. And either one will have it. It's been out in comic book shops since last week on Wednesday. And then it comes out everywhere else March 27th. So you can still pre-order it if you don't have a comic shop near you. You can still pre-order for print or digital. That's digital, Comixology and Amazon, all that stuff. On the 27th. So March 27th, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to just get the digital copy, you can get it on your Comixology. Puerto Rico Strong, okay? Thank you, Marco Lopez. Thank you so much thank you for helping the people of Puerto Rico. Hey, no problem, And when like people need help, you just got to be there. That's right. That's right. And of course, you're always welcome to talk about anything you want, any other projects you have coming up in the future. Contact me, and we'll get you on here on Geek Culture Congress, and the show will be yours, and you can plug away everything you want to talk about. Definitely, thanks. Hey, no problem, man. No problem. All right. Thank you so much. Another edition of Geek Culture Congress. We'll be coming back with a little bit of a review of Pacific Rim 2 that I checked out yesterday. So thank you, Marco. Thank you very much.
All right, you have a good one.
All right, as we continue with this Geek Culture Congress, by myself today, Tarek Lewis is doing his acting thing, getting ready for his movie premiere and all that good stuff, and getting ready for his play and doing his rehearsals and stuff. But I did check out, I actually got some preview tickets to check out Pacific Rim Uprising. It's the new movie with John Bodega, and I did enjoy it. I will not spoil anything for you today. If you did see the first one and you enjoyed it, I highly recommend the second one. Definitely, if you are a big robot fan and you like to see big robots fight monsters, well, this is the movie for you. So there's a lot of that in Pacific Rim Uprising, the part 2 version. I really enjoyed a little bit of the storyline of the whole kaiju and just, what happens to the world after the first attack of the kaiju from the other universe. And John Bodega is just an awesome actor. It makes any movie fun. I wish he had more time in the Last Jedi, but in this movie he definitely shines. Especially his interactions with all the other actors, and it's really fun movie. Do I think it's going to win any Oscars or be the next Black Panther? I will say no. But I did enjoy it. If that's your thing, watching robots fight monsters, definitely better than Transformers, the action sequences. And I highly recommend it. Check it out this summer. Pacific Rim Uprising hits theaters March 23rd. That's Friday, March 23rd, 2018. Go check it out. I enjoyed it. If big robots destroying stuff is your thing, you will enjoy it too. Another Geek Culture Congress signing off, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we'll be back with Tariq Lewis, where we talk about some Walking Dead and some other subjects. And hopefully we'll start talking, or we'll be soon in Infinity War season. So get ready. Geek Culture Congress signing off. Till next time.